Want to patent your invention? The chance is near. You've given it heart. Now get it in gear. It's Passage to Profit with Richard and Elizabeth Gearhart.
This is Richard Gearhart.
And Elizabeth Gearhart.
Welcome to Passage to Profit on WOR 710, the voice of New York. At Passage to Profit, we're all about the creativity, energy, and excitement that comes from starting your own business. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Well, I want to talk about something before we start.
That's good. We're on the radio. So.
So my nutritionist told me to drink more water, but, oh, man, I mean, how much water can you drink? I'm really getting tired of it. So, and I've tried flavored drinks, but the ones that taste really good just have way too many calories for me.
Well, you're in luck. Our guests tonight have a new low-calorie drink that tastes great. It's infused with fruit flavors, and, by the way, it even helps with hangovers.
Well, the hangover part I like. But, as far as the fruit flavors, so what? They all taste like that. They all taste the same. So is there anything new?
Well, yeah. Gene and Ken, who are with us here tonight, have formulated new low-cal drinks that taste good and satisfy your desire for something new. They use exotic fruit flavors like mangosteen that they mix with peach.
I've had peach and mango, but so what?
Well, have you ever had mangosteen?
What is that?
It tastes nothing like mango, and it's really good, and we'll find out in just a few minutes. Gene Gross and Ken Valenzano are in the studio with us tonight to tell us all about their company, All True. Welcome, Gene and Ken.
Thank you very much for having us.
So I am very excited about this beverage. It's something new. Nobody's made anything like this before, right?
Correct, yes. We're bringing new fruit flavors from around the globe, taking everyone's taste buds on a journey. We're using fruits like mangosteen, cherimoya, jackfruit, and prickly pear. And we've paired each exotic fruit with a more familiar fruit to everyone to create a truly unique flavor profile. And we're also very low in sugar, less than a gram per bottle. We're packed with antioxidants and electrolytes. There's no artificial preservatives, flavors, or sweeteners. The first and only beverage to contain glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. It's the most vital antioxidant for your health. A lot of well-known doctors do support it, and we have a patent pending on that as well.
Wow, that's great. Mm-hmm. So you are selling this in a lot of places now, right? Where are you selling?
We're selling in grocery stores, 7-Elevens, convenience stores, gyms in New Jersey and Pennsylvania at the moment. And we're also selling nationwide on Amazon.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's why you guys are guests, because you've really made progress on this. A lot of really great progress. I know a lot of entrepreneurs really would love to get their products in stores.
How did you guys come up with the idea of these drinks, and what was your inspiration? Did you just decided one day you're going to create a drink, right?
I think it probably started somewhere with us also being disappointed with the current drinks that were available for us. You know, drinks that are low in sugar but actually taste good. They didn't really exist a few years ago. There's starting to be more of a market for that, and we wanted to up the game by making them taste even better than everything's out there and introducing these flavors that nobody else has. And so the idea was, as guys who worked out and were trying to, hydrate after workouts, we wanted something that was good for you and tasted good, and it just didn't exist about 3 years ago.
And you guys certainly have the backgrounds to develop drinks, right?
Yes.
Gene, what's your background?
I'm a chemist, so we're both scientists turned entrepreneurs, and the science background definitely did help. So we felt very confident that we could improve functionality and taste, that these beverages are not just a healthy alternative. There's something that tastes good. And like I said, we're also raising the bar with functionality as well, with antioxidants like glutathione, as well as other antioxidants, a myriad of them from green tea and also polyphenols.
So is glutathione a naturally occurring substance?
It is.
Where does it come from?
It's actually made in all of our cells. It's made in most organisms that live on Earth. And it is, to what Gene said earlier, it is the master antioxidant. So it is what our bodies make to help protect us from, free radicals and other things that are damaging to our cells and our proteins and our DNA. But that can get depleted once it's doing its job. And so our drink is able to introduce more for those people who have active lifestyles and are burning through their glutathione.
It does decrease with age, and there are a lot of studies proving and supporting the importance of consuming glutathione. A myriad of different diseases, and also, as Richard pointed out earlier, a hangover remedy. So our beverage is
all this, and it tastes great too.
It's a great mixer and helps you with the next day as well.
So in order to reduce hangovers, you mix it with your booze when you're drinking drinks, and that's the ideal time. You wouldn't want to overload on it before you party or afterwards.
Or the alternative would be you have your drink, then you have an all true. Then you have a drink, then you have an all true. Or you can use it as a mixer, however you like.
All right. That sounds so awesome. So I'm kind of curious about how you actually develop the flavors for this, because really low sugar and low calories and taste great and hangover remedy. That's like the trifecta, only
really
with 4
is.
things instead of 3.
The quadfecta.
The quadfecta. So how did you guys develop this? And by the way, for our listeners, I've tried this stuff a bunch of times, and it really is good. I mean, it's definitely a home run on the flavor side of things.
Yeah, we spent over 1.5 years on development. We wanted to make sure it was right. We actually even experiment with fruits beyond what we have in our initial line, so we have ideas on expanding.
But how did you actually start it? Did you go to a company and say, we need a formulation that's like
no,
this?
We have a third partner, Sam, who is not able to be with us today, but he actually went out of his way to identify and purchase as many flavor extracts from exotic fruits that he could find online. And he spent evenings in his dining room mixing these things together to find out unique and interesting taste profiles by mixing exotic and common fruit flavors. And he, early on we were thinking just exotics, but we thought that might be too much of a stretch. Mangosteen, nobody's heard of it. Who's going to buy it? Who's going to take that chance? Mix it with peach, got some consumer familiarity, and we just thought that would be a home run. We tested that as far as an idea. People thought that was better, and then we set out to just try to improve the flavors as much as we could.
I recall you guys saying that you did a lot of focus groups, too.
That's right.
Correct. Yeah, we worked with the Rutgers Food Science Program. Our backgrounds, we had connections there. We ran 3 different sensory tests there. And we beat the big competitors. All 4 of our SKUs beat all the big competitors. And we did 3 different rounds to make sure we had it just right.
Yeah, it was an iterative process over about 12 months to do that.
Wow. So, Ken, I think when we were talking earlier, you said that you've been involved with a number of companies, right? So,
in the pharma business, I've worked at a number of companies. As an entrepreneur, my family is a long line of entrepreneurs. This is my first foray, actually, into it as doing it myself. But we have a winery in the family. We have a brewery in the family. We have many, many different types of convenience stores and gas stations and even a paintball store. So it's a very large entrepreneurial type family.
So no wonder you wanted the hangover remedy so that you could sell more wine and beer, right?
It certainly helps.
So what are the names of the wineries? You can say that
Yeah,
here.
the winery is
Plug anything you want.
Valenzano Winery. They're down in Chemung, New Jersey. Really good stuff down there. And they just recently started a brewery called Brotherton Brewery.
Okay.
Doing very well.
is it a craft brewery?
It's a craft brewery, yep.
Also, so are they using any of your flavors in the beer?
They're not. We're talking. We're talking.
They're going to have to buy them from you, right?
So how do you get the fruit? Like if mangosteen grows in another part of the world.
So we don't actually use the fruits. There's a number of companies that actually prepare extracts from these fruits in different ways. For instance, mangosteen, you might be able to find 5 or 6 different extracts available, which will have different taste profiles. So we screened through as many of those as we could find, found the ones we preferred, and then using the other fruit, did the same sort of thing, and then started mixing those in different ratios to find the profiles that we liked.
Okay, so that would be just like squeezing the fruit and getting the juice out, basically, right?
Roughly.
Sounds highly scientific to me.
Just depending on how you do the extract, you'll bring different molecules in and a different flavor profile.
So this show is sponsored by Gerhardt Law. That's Richard and Elizabeth Gerhardt, and we're an intellectual property firm. So tell us a little bit about your intellectual property around your products.
Yes, so as I mentioned, glutathione, we have a patent pending on that. When you're dealing with natural products, they don't have as long of a shelf life. And glutathione not only is good for us as you consume it, but it actually extends the shelf life of the product as well. So that is one of our claims.
It was a surprising finding for us
yeah,
when we formulated this.
So we ran a lot of tests. We're running more tests right now to gather even more data.
That's really great.
Yeah.
So did you have a discussion about trade secrets versus patenting?
We did.
And so what tipped the balance in favor of a patent for you
Well,
guys?
there was another thing, too, with the glutathione. It doesn't taste real good. It's got a sulfur group in it, so it tastes and smells a bit like rotten eggs. So we found ways when we're
So
putting
wait a
this-
minute, your product doesn't smell like rotten eggs.
Correct.
Okay, you fixed that problem. Okay, I didn't smell it when I drank it.
That's the other side of the
That's right.
coin.
And
Yeah.
so because of the surprising finding with the preservation, as well as the fact that we were able to mask this, we thought that we just had a leg up on any competitors and wanted to prevent other people from coming into this space and introducing glutathione in a drink. So we thought, the risk of patenting it is it becomes public. People are going to know it eventually. At the same time, hopefully it'll provide us protection.
So one of the challenges in protecting recipes is that you have to lots of times disclose the ingredients right on the label. So sometimes keeping it a food recipe as a trade secret is pretty tough, right? So you would have had to put glutathione on the label. Is that right?
It's actually on the label.
It is.
We
It is
even
on the
tell
label.
the
I didn't even
consumer how
check.
much is in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so really, you only want a trade secret when it's really hard to reverse engineer the product, right?
Right.
So if somebody can just take it and put it through a GC mass spec, or then they
You're getting very technical there. GC mass spec.
I'm with you.
Gas
he knows what I'm-
chromatic.
hey.
the scientists in the room are.
Hey,
I used to
fine
work on
with
them.
this.
Gene and I both have
Yes.
doctorates in analytical chemistry, so we have the synergy going on. But no, but anyway, so they could put it through instrumentation and they could figure out what it is and what ratios, and so really a patent probably was better for you guys.
That's what we think. And our patent basically covers a lot of ranges as well. You know how these patents are done. So we're hoping that with these ranges that we've picked for the different components, that we'll have some protection down the road.
Sounds like a good strategy. Well, we're coming to the end of our segment. We'll be right back with more Passage to Profit after this.
There's never been a better time to start your own business. The opportunities are infinite and only limited by your imagination and enthusiasm. At Gearhart Law, we believe the most successful companies all have one thing in common. They start with a solid foundation first. Gearhart Law has years of experience protecting entrepreneurs' ideas and brands using patent, trademark, and copyright protection. So if you have a new consumer product, a new software application that you're planning to build or sell, or a brand or company name that you want to protect, contact the experts at www.gearhartlaw.com. Our professionals will create a custom strategy designed to fit your needs and your budget. All of our attorneys are passionate about protection, licensed and qualified to represent you before the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Don't start your project without calling us first. Visit gearhartlaw.com. Together, we can change the world. Visit GEARHARTLAW.com. This ad has been read by a non-attorney spokesperson.
Now back to Passage to Profit. Once again, Richard and Elizabeth Gearhart.
We'll continue our discussion with Gene and Ken, and then we'll have two entrepreneurs pitching their businesses. They'll each have 2 minutes to pitch and 8 minutes to answer questions from Gene, Ken, Elizabeth, and myself. And don't worry, we've discussed the intellectual property situation with each one of our pitchers before allowing them to pitch. We don't want them to spill the beans too soon and allow someone else to scoop up their idea.
As you know, if you've listened to the show before, after the pitches, you can go to the Passage to Profit page at Gearhart Law and vote for your favorite pitch. That's Gearhart Law, GEARHART. The voting lasts for a week, but everyone only gets to vote once, so get everybody you know to vote for you. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can remember the name of our show by imagining walking down a passage with a huge pot of gold at the end. Passage to Profit.
What about silver? We always talk about gold. We never talk about silver.
Platinum.
Platinum. Okay. And may your passage be short and your profit be huge. And so we're going to continue with our guests and All True, the fantastic low-cal, low-carb, delicious hangover cure. We're talking, probably overdoing it on the hangover piece, but we're going to have a little taste test here in the studio. It's going to be Richard versus Elizabeth, and we're going to find out who has the better palate. And I've been drinking coffee all day, so I don't know how accurate my palate's going to be. But Ken, why don't you, and Gene, why don't you go ahead and describe the flavors for us? Elizabeth and I each have 4 cups of the All True in front of us. And we're going to try to figure out just which flavor you're describing.
Okay. So we have 4 SKUs here. We have 2 fruity, 2 citrus. So our first fruity is peach with mangosteen. Mangosteen has notes of peach, strawberry, lychee. It's a fleshy fruit. The peach you guys are familiar with. Our other fruity one is a light and tropical flavor. It's mango with cherimoya. Cherimoya from South America has hints of banana and strawberry, and some people even say kind of like vanilla ice cream. We then have tangerine with prickly pear. Prickly pear has notes of watermelon, so that's a light, refreshing, summery kind of citrus. And then we have complete the set with the coconut and jackfruit. Jackfruit, when they're small, they taste similar to pineapple. So this is our fancy take on a pina colada. Instead of pineapple, we have jackfruit in there.
All right. I can hardly wait. So
What color are you tasting? 'Cause
I'm going to start with the purple. Here goes. That's delicious, but I have no idea what it is.
I'm going to say the cherimoya.
It's actually the peach and mangosteen.
Ah! Okay.
I'm going to try it one more time.
Mangosteen has a purple outer coating.
Now you tell me. But
We
you
gotta
didn't
hold
even,
that.
You didn't
All
even
right.
guess, Richard. So anyway, okay. Second one. What color?
Let's go with the dark yellow.
I'm going to say tangerine and
I was going to
prickly
say
pear.
tangerine.
Ding,
Prickly
ding,
pear.
ding.
All right. So you're
It's
batting
really
50%.
Good
There you go.
though.
The next one, you decide.
Light yellow.
Light yellow. Here we go. Oh, that's the pineapple
Yeah, that's a pina colada one.
pina colada.
Correct.
that's-
Coconut
All right.
jackfruit.
All right.
That's
for
good
three.
too. Okay.
And
Last
then-
one.
Last one. Boy, we're having fun here.
You should be able to deduce this one at this point.
I'm going to say this is a cherimoya.
Correct. Correct.
How did I know that?
Winner, winner.
Cherimoya. So
It's different. It doesn't taste like cherries, though.
It doesn't taste like, and it's really refreshing. And I
Thank
still
you.
can't get over the low calorie. How many calories per bottle?
It's actually 7.5 calories per bottle.
7.5 calories per
Yeah,
bottle.
and 0.7 grams of sugar per bottle.
And 0 point. And then what about carbs?
There's 1 gram of net carbs per bottle.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really, really fantastic.
Mhm.
And there's very little aftertaste. It's just kind of a pleasant aftertaste. So
Thank you.
you guys have really hit a home run here.
So which one was your favorite? Mine was the tangerine and prickly pear.
I like the pina colada. Where can our listeners find these?
Yeah, you can find us in grocery stores, convenience stores, gyms in Jersey and Pennsylvania. We're in Murphy's Markets in New Jersey, Pennington Market, Morazzo's, and on Amazon as well.
The easiest is
nationwide.
Amazon.
Amazon would be
nationwide.
the
So
easiest.
what's your website?
It's drinkalltrue.com. Alltrue is ALTRU. So Drink All True. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Drink All True.
And you have great packaging too. So did you
Thank you.
search for your trademark and register it before you did your packaging?
Yes.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah, thank you.
Because Richard has some horror stories about trademarks.
Oh, absolutely. But you spent a lot of time working on the packaging too, right? I mean,
Correct.
that was-
Over a year and a half. That was the liquid itself and also the packaging as well.
how'd you go about getting the package designed? What did you do?
We started off, we did a lot on our own, running things by family and friends, and then we used a package design company. And it was very collaborative. It wasn't just, we had ideas, they came back with ideas, and it was very much back and forth. And we even put in, at least 50% of the effort into getting to where we are now. Besides, in addition to doing our own business venture, we wanted to bring a superior product to consumers, but we also wanted to use a vehicle to support our passion, which is pet rescue. So we're all big pet rescue supporters and owners, and Alltrue is donating 10% of our net profits to pet rescues, and we're also working with them in other ways to raise awareness for all these precious animals that do need loving homes.
Cool. So if you can't have an animal for some reason, you can at least help animals by buying Alltrue. We fully support this idea of helping poor, helpless creatures.
Yeah, we rescued some pets. Can you guys give us some money? Anyway, we're coming to the end of our segment. It's really been great talking to you, and I hope you can stick around for a few minutes.
And by the way, I've already drunk all of mine. I had like a half a cup.
Yeah, I've been sipping away
So-
here myself.
So it's all gone, so I'm going to have to refill. Really good stuff.
So you're listening to Passage to Profit on WOR 710, the voice of New York. We'll be back with our pitchers right after this.
What are entrepreneurs' most valuable assets? Their passion and ideas. We can't protect your passion, but we can protect your ideas. Trust Gearhart Law to protect your ideas with premier patent, trademark, and copyright services. There's never been a better time to start your own business. Contact us at GearhartLaw.com. At Gearhart Law, we have years of experience protecting entrepreneurs' ideas and brands using patent, trademark, and copyright protection. So if you have a new consumer product, a new software application that you're planning to build or sell, or a brand or company name that you want to protect, contact the experts at Gearhart Law. www.gearhartlaw.com. Don't let the wrong protection strategy ruin your business. All of our attorneys are passionate about protection and are licensed and qualified to represent you before the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Don't start your project without calling us first. Contact Gearhart Law on the web at GearhartLaw.com. Together, we can change the world. This ad has been read by a non-attorney spokesperson.
Passage to Profit continues with Richard and Elizabeth Gearhart.
Now it's time for the pitches. Our first pitcher is Tiffany Verrett, and she has just this amazing thing. When I heard about this, it's so out of the box. I was like, oh my gosh, you have to come on the show. So welcome, Tiffany. Tell us all about it.
So I am the co-founder of Mates on Mats. It is a children's enrichment company that combines the really, really deep philosophy as well as the practical movements on the mat meditation techniques, breathing techniques, combines that with chess.
Ow!
And so, it's really amazing of a combination. Actually, yoga has been proven in numerous studies to really deepen the mind-body connection. And when you can give children these tools, they can walk away with these tools that they don't know are actually going to benefit them in their adulthood as they move through life. We're coming into a really crazy time in the world, and they deserve to have these tools, and they need them. And then chess, these things seem like they don't go together, but they actually work really, really well together. Chess is really known for improving memory, foresight, concentration, strategic thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, memory. I mean, there's like a million things to remember and how to play chess. Even I'm still trying to figure it all out. And so when you bring these two things together, it really helps children develop a really healthy sense of confidence, of inner strength, of resilience, of emotional intelligence, right? Because you can be as smart as the textbook that you can memorize back to front, but if you have no emotional intelligence and no way to ground yourself into who you really are, aside from the outer knowledge, then the inner knowledge kind of loses its magic, so to speak. And children deserve a place to develop these skills that they're going to need no matter what it is that they decide to do in life. And so when you bring these two things together, it just creates this amazing synergy of tools for them to really use in their development. And we take a holistic approach to childhood development and youth empowerment.
That really does sound amazing. So how does it work? Do they come into the yoga studio and do yoga and then play chess afterwards? Or
the yoga comes first, yes.
Okay.
The yoga comes first and then the chess after. So I've been working in the community with children for about 14 years now. And what I've come away with from all of this is how important a sense of community is. Again, you can have all of the knowledge in the world, you can get great grades, and you can really do well in school. But if you don't know how to be a good person to another person, what use is any of that? And so teaching children that they are not of the world, they are in the world, and they're here to serve with whatever gifts and talents that they were given naturally from birth. Each and every child has one of those. And I strongly argue with anyone who tells me that some kids are just not talented, they just don't have things. And that's not true, actually.
I'm fast. I used to be in the chess club myself in high school. Do you ever have anyone come in? I've seen it sometimes where when I was in school, they had some very high level chess masters come in, and they would play like 6 of us at the same time, just going assembly down line. Oh yeah, and it was really fun.
Really makes you feel like you're important, right? Yeah, this
exactly.
one guy is like playing 18, 15 people at the time,
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And I'm thinking the whole time about my next move. He's just going boom, 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 boom. So I'm just curious.
We haven't had that yet. That is in our future plans. However, my co-founder, Sean Martinez, is a master chess player. He's amazing in what he does. And there's people who can play the game really well, and then there's people who can teach the game really well. And he's really an amazing teacher to teach it to children. Because as we know, children's attention spans are pretty short. And so creating this environment where it's really engaging and really fun and yet really, really packed with so much knowledge and so much learning is really what we're aiming to do. And so getting to learn from someone who is not only really good at playing the game, but also really good at teaching it is really important. And them developing a sense of community with each other, how to move together with intention and integrity and attention and all these beautiful things wrapped up into one, and how do they treat each other on the mat and on the board. And what I really want them to come away with is that who you believe is your opponent, who you think is your competition, who you believe is your enemy is actually just your teacher.
That is very profound.
Teaching them that, I think, really sets them up for changing the trajectory of the world, actually. And I think we can all agree that we'd like to see the world go in a little bit of a different direction than it's been going. And as a youth development professional, my heart is with the babies. And I just want to teach the kids how to develop the world that we all want to see, because it's a little harder to get to adults, right? Adults are set in their ways. They don't really want to change a lot. But children are these sponges that we can mold from now. And so giving them that and then saying, please take this and take what you're good at, take what you love, and make the world a better place, and do that in community with people. learn how to work with people, learn how to love yourself so you can work with other people and love other people.
I really do think it's interesting when you think about competition. One of the things one of my coaches used to tell me is when you're playing or competing, you really want to be competing against yourself, right? And not necessarily the other person across on the other side of the court,
Right.
but you want to be trying to achieve your own fullest potential. If they have better skills or if they have weaker skills, that's really not as important as you trying to improve yourself and to use your best skills too. And so I think what you're achieving in your class certainly makes a certain amount of sense.
So what age groups do you teach?
Currently, we're teaching ages 5 to 10.
Gene, you mentioned that you were a chess player.
Yes.
Did you feel like it had an effect on your skill development?
I definitely do. Being able to visually think ahead and visualize pieces that aren't physically there and thinking many steps ahead. It's good brain, mental exercises. But again, like you said, as they're sponges, goes hand in hand with the good physical and exercise, mental exercise that comes with yoga too. I see it being a very interesting take and a big home run. But yeah, for myself, definitely, yeah.
So I have a question. Is it hard to get the kids there? So do you maybe bring a kid for chess and then they find out they're doing yoga too? Or hey, surprise! Or the parents are dragging
I'm going for chess.
You know, it's funny. Chess tends to, if you look at the big picture, chess tends to look like a boys' game. Because it is so logic based and it's very competitive. So a lot of the boys that we've gotten, they definitely argue against the yoga part. And so the way I kind of sell them is like, this will just make you really good at chess. This will make you better at chess. You want to be better. And again, bringing that in as a life tool. Like, look, this is not only going to make you better at chess, it's going to make you better at life as a person. And of course, at 6 years old, they have no interest in that. So the way I teach yoga is very, very it's play-based. It's very it's developmental play in that sense. So the way I would teach to a group of adults is very different from the way I teach to a group of 5-year-olds. And they just have no clue that they're playing this game that is incredibly good for their mind, body, and spirit.
So just a
little Trojan horse.
Just to switch tracks a little bit here now, I've heard that goat yoga is becoming incredibly popular. How do you compare goat yoga and chess yoga?
I don't compare because I've never taken goat yoga. It is on my list. I'm definitely down with animals being around the yoga room. I'm totally for it. I think being around animals is actually very healing. It's actually really, really a beautiful experience. And so to, bring in like goats and puppies into your practice, it just
makes yoga I could get, Goats.
Goats are super cute, especially baby goats.
Oh,
They're
yeah. Well,
really
if you
cute.
get baby goats. Yeah.
I don't think bringing up big ones.
And I'd imagine that with kids, that would actually probably be a big success is goat yoga. Kids love animals love kids. And just, again, it brings it back to that playful aspect of getting to know yourself better and reconnecting all the parts. Because I think a lot of us walk around with floating head syndrome. We're kind of disconnected from our bodies, from ourselves, from the heart, from the spirit. And teaching children that actually there's all these moving parts to you that work as a whole. Again, it's that holistic approach. And a big piece of the yoga philosophy is ahimsa, nonviolence towards other living beings, and having reverence and respect and honoring other living beings. And so I think bringing animals into kid yoga would be an actual really awesome idea.
So how would you structure a class then? Do they both do chess and yoga? Or do you do the chess first? Do you play 20 minutes of chess and then 20 minutes of yoga? How does it all work?
So we do about 45 minutes worth of yoga. We end with some meditation and then they'll get into chess. Actually, the way that they play chess is on a yoga mat. So it, again, reinforces the idea that all of this is one. All of this is part of a whole. My co-founder, Sean Martinez, he, again, creates really cool games and puzzles for them to how to learn actually how to play chess, learning the foundation of the game, teaching the board geography, and then we kind of end with some meditation to kind of round it all out, smooth it out, polish that stone.
I was thinking, this whole synergetic, system we have here, it's very interesting. I was just curious if you guys have ever experimented doing the chess without the yoga and comparing the results.
That's the scientist coming
out.
I had the same question.
Yeah.
I was like, are they like real relaxed when they're doing the chest, or does the anxiety level go up?
I'd
or?
like to have these studies done, and I'm curious. Because I would expect them to be much better after the yoga than.
So funny enough, that's actually how Mates on Mats was born. Me and Sean were both teaching at Columbia University's elementary school, the school at Columbia over on Broadway in West Side Manhattan. And I was assigned as his teaching assistant. He was a chess club instructor, and he was just like, oh, like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I teach children's yoga. And he was like, oh, do you want to do some with the kids before we do some chess? That'd be cool. It was very, like sporadic in that way. And I did maybe 20 minutes worth of movement with them. And the way they played chess after was dramatically different from the way we were used to seeing them play. And the first thing he said was, oh my gosh, this stuff works. It's not just like theory and like this trendy thing, but this stuff works. And they played chess with they were so much more peaceful, so much more calm. They were nicer to each other. They were kinder to each other. You know, it wasn't just pure chaos in the room, especially in after school. After school, it's a really difficult thing for enrichment professionals like me to kind of tackle because they've already been told what to do for 8 hours in the day. And so we kind of threw that in, and it changed the way they played chess. And that's when the light bulb went off and we were like, oh, this is a thing.
I can kind of see this starting a new trend where all the grandmasters before every match are doing yoga positions.
That is a thing.
So maybe we're starting a new trend here.
A lot of the grandmasters are actually yoga practitioners. They personally have yoga coaches that come to them with 2 competitions, and they're doing yoga postures and meditation before games, and they go into games and like rip the whole tournament. It's like insane. There's a whole article on like a chess master that did this. I can't recall his name, but he was losing the tournament really badly. He called his yoga instructor in from like across the city and was like, I need you to come save me.
Wow.
He did some yoga and some meditation, and he went in and just like killed everyone in the tournament.
Do you have one studio? Are you planning to expand this out, get more people?
Yep. So we are currently launching our program at Stuytown in Peter Cooper Village over in the Lower East Side. And the plan is to expand from there to replicate this in every single neighborhood of the city as much as possible, and then nationwide and globally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wherever chess and yoga take place.
So it's called Mates, MATES, on Mats, ONMATS.
Yep.
And you have a website, matesonmats.com.
Yes.
So are you looking for more people to help you do this? Are you looking for investment money? Are you looking for space?
All the things.
All of those.
All the
the
things.
above.
Right now,
And
it's
if you have a
literally
user-
just me and my partner, and
If you have a used chess set you want to donate, they'll take that too.
yoga mats, chess sets. We are looking to sponsor children in, low-income, marginalized communities, because I come from one of those, and so I know what it is to have to for my mom to tell me, like, we can't afford certain programs. You have to stick to the free one. And so we are looking to sponsor some children who are interested.
Tiffany Verrett, this has been great. You're listening to Passage to Profit on WOR 710, the voice of New York.
Hi, I'm Lisa Askley's the Inventress, founder, CEO, and president of Inventing A to Z. I've been inventing products for over 38 years. Hundreds of products later and dozens of patents. I help people develop products and put them on the market from concept to fruition. I bring them to some of the top shopping networks in the world: QVC, HSN, eVine Live, and retail stores. Have you ever said to yourself, someone should invent that thing? Well, I say, why not? Make it you. If you want to know how to develop a product from concept to fruition the right way, contact me, Lisa Askley's the Inventress. Go to inventingatoz.com, inventingatoz.com. Email me, lisa@inventingatoz.com. Treat yourself to a day chock full of networking, education, music, shopping, and fun. Go to my website, inventingatoz.com.
Now back to Passage to Profit. Once again, Richard and Elizabeth Gearhart.
Along with Gene and Ken, our guests this evening. And for our second and final pitch, we're going to be featuring Tom Sherman. As you know, at Passage to Profit, we're always looking to change the world. And our special guest this evening, Tom, is going to be doing that. So you have 2 minutes, Tom. Go.
All right. So how long is a foot? 12 inches, right? How heavy is a pound? 16 ounces. How cold is ice? 32 degrees. How long is a month? Now, that depends. You might want to start whispering a rhyme under your breath or counting your knuckles, however you determine month lengths. Could be anything from 28 to 31 days. according to internal surveys, about 2/3 of people estimate a month to be 30 days long, when a full 75% of the year is made of months that are either 31 or 28 days. So basically what I'm saying is the annual calendar system is afforded inaccuracies and inconsistencies that other measurement systems just aren't allowed to have. There's not standard units. Units don't compound and coordinate with each other. That leads to fractional units. A week is actually 52.127 weeks in a year rather than 52 like we normally think. All this compounds into things where like a new month starting midweek is basically like if we started a new day mid-hour. So over the past decade, we've had a team of scientists and engineers and a couple college dropouts take a look at this in a no-nonsense approach to tackling time. We had one goal: to divide time as evenly as possible in order to create a coherent measurement system that can be used at any given point in time, since time is a measurement and it should be treated as such. So we developed a system based around the fact that the 365-day year can only be broken into base units of 5 and 73. And we created a standardized compounding units that occur with consistency, regularity from week to week, month to month, season to season, year to year, in perpetuity. It's a timekeeping system where all units are designed to work in conjunction with each other so users can establish resonance in order to amplify the magnitude of their actions.
So basically, you've come up with a new calendar.
That's correct, yes.
All right. So how many days does the calendar have?
It still has 365. And
I guess that was kind of a dumb question. So how many months does the calendar have?
So there's 5 seasons in the year, and there's 5 73-day periods. And I brought a wall calendar version for you guys to look at here in studio. If you folks want to follow along at home, you can check out our website, www.thenewcalendar.com. And we've got some samples up there for you to follow along with. Basically, in the 5 seasons, when you line them up to start on the winter solstice, that starts on December 21st, ends on March 3rd. Spring starts on March 4th, ends on May 15th. Summer begins on May 16th and ends on July 27th. Autumn is the newly discovered 5th season of the year, and that starts on July 28th and ends on October 9th. And then fall begins on, or that ends on October 8th, and then fall begins on October 9th and lasts until December 20th. So in that, we've divided the season into each season into 2 months, and then one day right in the middle called mid-season. So to answer your question short, there's 10 months in the year now. Wow.
So I'm looking at the calendar that you gave us, and what I saw first was it covers years 2019 to 9999. And I was like, wow, how is that? And then I thought, well, because they've split it up so evenly that like the second is going to fall on the same day every single year, like the 2nd of December, right?
Right. Yeah, that's correct. So right now it's
going to put all those calendar makers out of business. But
yeah, Big Calendar is not going to be pleased. So basically the problem with the current calendar system, or one of them, is since weeks and years don't coordinate well, and there's that one extra day each year, what happens is the next year, so if today is a Sunday, next year today is going to be a Monday. Or if it's a leap year, it'll be a Tuesday. And then it'll go on and so forth, where days and dates of the year only realign on a 6-year, 11-year cycle. We've taken that, thrown it out the window, and now you just have to deal with this one calendar. If your birthday is on the 5th day of the week, it's always going to be on the 5th day of the week, no matter what. It's just is what it is.
So do I get more vacation with this calendar? That's right. What I want to know.
You know, in the one you're holding, there's 9-day weeks. I do like to tell people that the 2 extra days are weekend days. It's a crowd pleaser. But in all reality, you should go to work when your boss tells you to. That's
nonstop for us.
I guess that's pretty much, that makes a certain, that's good advice.
Yeah, you know, I know. It makes some people a little bit bitter, but, you know, I think the real compromise is you start with the ask for the 2 extra days being weekend days, and then your boss says, oh, no, you should have only 2 weekend days, and the compromise is you keep 3 weekend days and then have 6 work days in a week. And you know, it's still a better percentage for you, the worker, as far as time off.
So I can see this being very valuable in data analysis. So, for instance, I look at Google Analytics to see how many people have come to our website every day, and I compare periods against periods, and it's a day off, like you said, one period to the other. So I have to manipulate the data to get it to where I'm actually looking at comparable things. This would be awesome for that.
Right. Yeah, completely. I mean, applications are any way that you use a calendar right now. Since this is a better calendar system, it's like basically a better ruler that has standardized length. You can use it in any way. So I think data comparison and analysis, logistics, stuff like that, where you need to know time on a consistent, perpetual basis, that's where you're going to find the most value of applying the system.
Tom, you said that a team of scientists created this calendar.
Yes.
So how big was the team?
So it started small, and it's just kept on gathering steam as it rolls along. So I started this by myself a long time ago, and then some big breakthroughs occurred in early 2017 in the form of a missed bill payment. And I was like, you know what? I've had it with this Gregorian calendar. I need to figure it out. And it was madness. And so so I did a little work, and the eureka moment occurred, and that's when I started taking it to just basically people in my network that have backgrounds across scientific fields. Luckily, my girlfriend's dad is a retired physics professor, so that was nice because I gave him a copy of the prototype, and then the next time I saw him, he didn't even let me put my bags down. He was just talking about frequencies and atoms, and and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
So does this change the value for a light year?
No, this is not going to change the value of the speed of light and how that's all calculated. It's really just a reorganization of, because right now from a second up to a day, it all compounds. You know, you got 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day.
So the minutes and the seconds and the hours.
It's all the same, yeah. And then beyond a year, that's all the same too. You know, a year's still a year, and you still celebrate leap years on the same cycle. You know, a decade's 10 years, but it's just that in between, because there's no good way to attack the internal year from a day and a year.
It's a completely sort of novel concept, and I'm not quite sure it's going to be received as maybe we would like it to be. So what is your plan for rollout, and what are your thoughts about where this will be initially taken up, and then how do you plan to make it more broadly taken up?
It's a 200-year plan that we're working on right now.
According to this calendar.
Right, yeah, it's because, I mean, it took Pope Gregory about 150 years to get his calendar adopted, and he had the full weight and faith of the Catholic Church.
And you're just a scientist. That's all.
Passage to profit. I mean, come on.
Exactly. I mean, I'm hoping this will cut it down by a few years. So, yeah, I mean, right now we're looking for the direct applications that really showcase its value, that get it into the mainstream. And I think how that's going to go is basically from businesses picking up the applications that apply to them. And people are better at understanding how they use the calendar and how this system will better their lives than I am. That's kind of what we're hoping for is some adoption on the internal side throughout some businesses to help their operation processes. And then, after a few catch on, maybe they'll just adopt that whole calendar system in general, and then it slowly works its way into the real world. Another way that I think it's going to have a great potential impact is just in marketing distributables, because right now about 50% of wall calendars are marketing from, an organization or a business they're like, hey, here's a free calendar, and people hang it up in their cubicles at home. So right now, they're getting a lot of loss because right now, disregarding that this is a differentiation and a unique way to sell their business, if they use one of these new calendars, that's an evergreen supply. They can hang on to a box of these for as long as they want, pass them out at any time of the year, whenever they want.
Yeah, or you can, I was going to say, for mass appeal, you go with the cute puppies or the kittens.
Right.
All these different fun themes you see at the end of every year in the mall.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So I had a thought, though. Honestly, companies do a little bit of playing with time because there's the year and then there's the fiscal year and there's the fiscal quarter. And that doesn't have to be the same for two different companies. It's what they want it to be. So I wonder if you could approach it from, this is going to make your fiscal reporting so much cleaner.
Yeah, and there have been a couple accountants that I've been working with, and they rave about it because apparently they run into this all the time where out of the 4 quarters of the year, one's 90 days, one's 91 days, 2 are 92 days. And so they're constantly freaking out about getting it exactly precise. And this is a precise measurement system that works every single time. There's also a business, the retail calendar is what it's called, and a lot of retailers use it. They just focus on weeks, and they have, I believe, 13 4-week months in a year, and then they just disregard the extra day that's on at the end of the year. But then every 5 or 6 years, they add in an entire week onto one quarter, making it a 14-week quarter, which throws off the whole consistency and reliability that you're exactly striving for.
Yeah,
Well-
how do you compare that data?
Well, a calendar like this certainly makes a lot of sense. And I'm just looking here at the calendar, and I noticed now on December 23rd is Festivus, right? So it'll be great comfort to us Festivus fans of knowing that Festivus is on the 3rd.
It's still on the 23rd of December, but it's on the 3rd day of early winter.
Okay.
Which
all
is
right.
called Earth. You have like names for all of these.
So the
right?
9 days of the week, we're naming them after the planets. So we're bringing back Pluto, which is, great. Yeah, exactly.
It's
And-
officially a planet again.
Right. Yes. According to this calendar.
According to the calendar. You're doing a lot here, by the way.
I know. I wanted to move leap day, but I thought, what, it's too much. It's too crazy.
So if somebody was born on leap year, what happens? They still get a birthday?
They still get a birthday. We're still going to put February 29th, leap day, where society currently observes it, which is inoptimal within this calendar system. I personally like to celebrate leap day after the midsummer, which is the second longest day of the year, because that's one of the cool things. When you line the system up to the Earth's orbital rotation and started on the winter solstice, the exact middle day of the middle period is the summer solstice, because time kind of makes sense if we allow it to and view it under a objective structure.
So if you go and you look at the calendar, it's really great because it has the new calendar, but it also has the days of the old calendar for reference, right? So you can kind of compare the two.
Not only that, they'll always stay the same, which is why, you can use this calendar in perpetuity. But again, this is just one application. As you guys know, there's a difference between the product and the patent. And so this is just one way to use it. You can take this ruler basically and measure out data. You can measure out time consistently in any way you want. If you have a baby, you can actually say, oh, he's a month old. And it's not like, well, does that mean he's 28 days old? Is he 31 days old? What's
I know.
going
Sometimes
on?
that runs through my mind when I'm asking about a baby's age.
He
for
never
sure.
remembers how old he is.
So, Tom, you told us that you had a patent before the show, right? And
Yes.
You wrote one yourself.
Yes.
Right.
That's
And you filed it, and you're waiting for a response from the patent office.
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
So how does having a patent mix with trying to get the calendar out there?
I kind of had a hard time writing it because there wasn't a lot of prior art. There was actually, I had to.
There was like only one calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had one piece of prior art.
It was, yeah. But, I kind of took that approach because I thought that in order for this system to actually be a scientific system that's engineered objectively, you got to do it like you're writing a patent or making a new piece of technology. Right now with a lot of the reforms that have been proposed and made, they're still based on the calendar being this mythical sort of thing that we don't really know what it is, but we do know what it is. It's a measurement system. And every other measurement system has pretty standardized rules of compounding units that align with each other, all these sorts of things. And it just was never given to the calendar. So that's why I took that route. And I figured it's better than nothing as far as, why not? And I've always wanted to put on my resume invented time. So
Well, maybe you could get Europe to use it because they use standard units for scientific measurements.
Yeah,
as
if you have
know.
this is the
Right.
metric calendar, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes. It's a little bit, yeah. I mean, the French actually, when they proposed the metric system, they proposed a metric calendar as well. But it was 10 36-day months, and then they just, added 5 days on at the end of the year, which threw off the whole nature of it, of it being a metric, consistent, standardized thing. And just one more point real quick is the metric system and the standard system, as much as there's beef between the two and all that, at least a foot is always 12 inches. It's not like sometimes it's 13, sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 10. It's always 12. And so there is logic within the standard system to some degree.
Well, thank you for solving that very frustrating problem for all of us. We're very grateful. And where can we find your calendar?
You can check it out at www.thenewcalendar.com. We also have a Facebook page called The New Calendar, and you'll be hearing more from us on great shows like Passage to Profit in the future.
Well, thank you very much for being here. We'll be right back with more right after this message.
There's never been a better time to start your own business. The opportunities are infinite and only limited by your imagination and enthusiasm. At Gearhart Law, we believe the most successful companies all have one thing in common. They start with a solid foundation first. Gearhart Law has years of experience protecting entrepreneurs' ideas and brands using patent, trademark, and copyright protection. So if you have a new consumer product, a new software application that you're planning to build or sell, or a brand or company name that you want to protect, contact the experts at www.gearhartlaw.com. Our professionals will create a custom strategy designed to fit your needs and your budget. All of our attorneys are passionate about protection, licensed and qualified to represent you before the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Don't start your project without calling us first. Visit gearhartlaw.com. Together, we can change the world. Visit gearhartlaw.com. This ad has been read by a non-attorney spokesperson.
Now more with Richard and Elizabeth. Passage to Profit.
I feel like I am way outside the box tonight.
I think this has got to be like one of the most intellectual programs that we've ever done.
It really is. I'm so innovative and just things I would never have thought of.
Yeah, chess and yoga, calendar. Where else are you going to hear about this stuff?
Well, and then the drinks, too, with this great hangover cure and the different flavors
that part
blended
really
together.
stuck with us.
Yeah. I could see it going like fire on college campuses. Right? So it was a great show.
So remember, everyone, to go to the Passage to Profit page at the gearhartlaw.com website. That's GEARHARTLAW, and vote for your favorite project.
So to summarize, we had Tiffany Verrett with Mates on Mats, and we had Tom Sherman with newcalendar.com.
Now, Google Passage to Profit and make your choice. Remember, you can only vote once, and you have until next Sunday at 7 p.m. to vote. This evening's pitch contestants will receive a Passage to Profit t-shirt, and the best overall vote getter for the show will receive an Amazon gift card valued at $25.
So who's going to get the card? Is it Tom? Is it Tiffany? But that's a tough decision.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would like to say thanks to everyone who participated today. And this is just amazing hearing this brand new stuff every week that hardly anybody knows about. And I never vote because I'm always impressed. And tonight just really did blow me away. That's what I love about doing this.
Well, that's great, Elizabeth. And I agree the pitches were wonderful. And I want to say thanks again to our guests, Eugene and Ken. Do you guys have any final thoughts or words of wisdom for our audience?
Well, I just want to thank the two of you for inviting us on. I think this has been a great opportunity for All True to get the word out about our new product and the launch. And I just want to say that, I hope the rest of the world is aligned with what we're trying to do here to help people and help pets and bring a new product on that can do benefit for both of those populations on our planet.
Yeah, feel good, do good. That's All True. And again, we're at drinkalltrue.com and on Instagram and Facebook at drinkalltrue.
And really, you can be one of the first people in your sphere of friends to discover this drink. And then they'll all love you, right?
Absolutely. And what you should do is you should get the drink. You should go to a yoga chess class. And you should mark the days when you're going to go on your new calendar.
Exactly. So I guess we really are coming to the end now.
We went off the deep end a long time ago.
Yeah. So we would like to thank our producer, Noah Fleischman, Rob Barretts, our engineer, Kenya Gibson, our media maven, and the whole iHeart team. So don't forget to join us next week for another excellent speaker and another round of pitchers. And listeners, you can start thinking about what your pitch will be.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This is Richard and Elizabeth Gearhart on iHeartRadio with Passage to Profit, WOR 710, the voice of New York.